first budget hearing for the 2015-2016 budget. It is 5:01, so we will convene the meeting, and we're going to start the meeting today with a moment of silence in recognition of the victims of 9/11, as 9/11 will be this Friday. So if we could just take a quick moment of silence. And if you all rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, which I have not led here in a long time. So I think I'm going to do that.
Remember how to start?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Kind of liking that.
Okay, let's call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll and make a determination of quorum, please?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Gray?
Here.
Commissioner Ortiz? Commissioner Stewart?
Here.
Commissioner Sheehan?
Here.
Commissioner Hill?
Here.
Commissioner Ings?
Here.
Mayor Dyer?
Here.
We have Commissioner Ortiz.
So note
have
that
a
all members are
quorum.
present. Okay, one of our requirements pursuant to the city charter is a public hearing with respect to the preliminary budget of the Greater Orlando Aviation Authority. So I will now open a public hearing with respect to the preliminary budget of the Greater Orlando Aviation Authority for fiscal year 2015-16. I note that Phil Brown is here, the Executive Director, Jackie Churchill, Frank Kruppenbacher, Chairman of the Board, and Marcos Marchena, who is General Counsel. On August 19th of this year, the GOA Board passed a resolution approving its preliminary budget for fiscal 15-16, commencing on October the 15th and ending September the 30th, 2016. The preliminary budget is $471,415,000, and the preliminary budget for the Orlando Executive Airport is $2,826,600. In accordance with Section 12 of the City Charter, GOA has submitted the preliminary budget to City Council for review during a public hearing. This hearing is informational, and the City Council does not take action. Madam Clerk, I will open the public comment portion. Do we have any cards of anybody that would like to participate?
Not at this time, no.
Okay, in that case, I'll recognize you, Phil.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity, Mayor and members of City Council, to participate in this hearing. Just as a brief overview of the budget, this year's budget, as the Mayor has indicated, is proposed for $471,415,000 as compared to last year's budget operation, so it's all user fees or payments by the airlines. On the appropriation side, the expenses that we've seen increase have been maintenance of loading bridge equipment, baggage systems, additional security, because we contract out security that's away from the security provided by TSA, which is funded by the federal government. We also have some increases in health insurance that we're seeing, as well as 16 new positions. We haven't increased our positions since we went through, significantly since we went through a reduction in force of 50 positions in 2009. Our employments are growing. We're trending right now at about 37.3 million passengers. We've actually surpassed our highest mark, which was in 2008. So we've basically recovered from where we were pre-recession in terms of the traffic, and it continues to grow. We've added some new service. We'll continue to add some new service the rest of this year, and expect right now about 38 million passengers by the end of the calendar year. With that, Mr. Mayor, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions, comments from the council? Thank you, Phil. We'll close the budget hearing and move on to the city budget. This is the first of two public hearings for the adoption of the, if you guys want to sneak out, please do so. This is the first of two public hearings for the adoption of the millage rate and budget for the City of Orlando for fiscal year 2015-2016. At this first hearing, City Council will consider for adoption the proposed millage rate and tentative budget. At the second hearing, the City Council will consider for adoption the final millage rate and budget. But before I do that, our property appraiser, Rick Singh, is here, is, I guess, going to explain trim notices and what's out in the public right now.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Commissioners and your staff, for allowing me to be part of this presentation. I think we ought to hit that. There we go. So, Mayor, I'll talk a little bit about the value, give you an overview of the value of the City of Orlando. But before doing that, I'd like to take this moment to express a public sentiment of condolences and deep sympathy to my good friend, Commissioner Hill. We've undergone an in-depth audit by the Department of Revenue before certifying a tax roll, and we passed this audit with 100%. The tax roll has been healthy, and sentiments from the Department of Revenue, it's the healthiest it's ever been in terms of evaluation, in terms of accuracy. Orange County and the City of Orlando has undergone a tremendous amount of rebound, as is indicated by these numbers. City of Orlando very quickly has 92,000 parcels, 19,000 tangible personal property accounts, and of course, 34,650 homesteaded property and 1,400 senior exemptions. City of Orlando, I'm very familiar with the Orange County, so forgive me for a second. So total Save Our Home benefits was $1.45 billion. Homesteaded with Save Our Home benefits, this is total number of benefits from homesteaded was 31,773. Some tremendous increase. Last year, the market value of the City of Orlando was $32.3 billion. This year, we've seen $37.7 billion. That's 16.7% increase over last year. More importantly, taxable value last year was $20.3 billion, and this year we see a 14.3% increase, $22.9 billion in taxable value. Orlando value breakdown in terms of residential, it's 37%, $8.5 billion. Commercial, 48%, $10.8 billion, and of course our tangible personal property, 11%. Orlando's new construction saw a tremendous increase. Last year it was $417.9 million. We've had an increase of 171%. This year is $1.3 billion. Mayor and Commissioners, I want you to understand that's $3.1 million of new construction every day in the City of Orlando. So those cranes that you see have a significant meaning. In 2015, 350 million residential homes, 285 new homes got constructed. The value is $350 million. 780 million accounted for commercial and industrial. Some of the large ticket items were 10 apartment complexes, Cabana Bay, Publix Distribution Center was a new addition, and of course, Universal Studios. In summarizing, the real estate market in the City of Orlando is on the rebound. We're seeing tremendous amount of growth. New construction is up, but there's still a lot more to come in the pipeline. Home sales are setting healthy records. Businesses are investing in assets. Our tangible personal property accounts will continue to grow. Orlando population will grow. Orange County, as many of you may know, outpaced the state of Florida 2-to-1 and the nation 3-to-1. Jurisdictions like yours will experience revenue growth, and as your property appraiser, we're eminently qualified to handle this growth. Staff is available outside for individualized questions, and if you have any questions at this moment, I'd love to entertain them.
Questions of our property appraiser? We thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners.
So, Madam Clerk, let's move back to the adoption of the millage rate for the City of Orlando budget. If you would read the title of the millage resolution.
City of Orlando Millage Resolution. Resolution of the City of Orlando, Florida, establishing the ad valorem tax levy millage rate upon the assessed real property and business personal property tax rolls of the year 2015.
So the proposed millage rate for the city for fiscal year 2015-2016 is 6.6500 mils, which is 4.99% higher than the rollback rate of 6.3342. Is there a motion to adopt the proposed millage rate?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ings, second by Commissioner Stewart. Brian, comments on the millage rate?
Thank you, Mayor. Commissioners, on July 27th, City Council approved a millage rate of 6.65, so the appropriate filing could be made with the property appraiser by the August 1st deadline for trim notification process. The millage rate is within the parameters outlined by state formula and is to maintain the city's current levels of service.
Questions of Brian? Is there any request for public comment on the millage rate?
No.
Then, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion passes. Madam Clerk, would you read the title of the budget resolution?
A resolution of the City of Orlando, Florida, adopting the annual budget of the City of Orlando, Florida for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2015 and ending September 30th, 2016.
Is there a motion to adopt the tentative budget for this year?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ings, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Brian?
The total proposed budget is $1.11 billion, or $1,114,782,174, including a general fund budget of $401.6 million, or $401,607,332. As discussed at the budget workshop, there have only been a few changes to the totals amount compared to the overall city budget presented in the July 27th budget and brief.
Questions of Brian? Public comment, do we have any requests to speak on the tentative budget?
Yes, sir, we do.
Luana Gelzer, and regular rules apply. You'll have 5 minutes.
Luana Gelzer, 7674 St. Stevenson Court, Orlando, Florida, zip 32835. Make it very, very clear. Page 6, on the proposed budget that I received on July 13, I have a concern about the credit rating for the City of Orlando. For some of us who have a finance background, how many bonds that you're utilizing or getting this AAA rating, because we know some of the bonds do not have. And how are you coming up with this information? Because I pulled it offline, I've looked thoroughly. I would like to meet with someone if they could show me how you came up with this conclusion, because at this particular time, I'm very concerned that the City of Orlando does not have a AAA rating across the board. You might have 1 or 2 bonds, but not all of them. Then I want to talk about some time ago, I said that we really needed to have a forensic audit, an independent audit, not someone randomly we choose, an independent audit, because I'm very concerned that we're not getting all the facts and what type of bonds are going to be maturing and what kind of debt is the city really in. And so I'm very concerned about the transparency and the accountability that we're receiving. I'm more concerned about the transparency that every time we have to put in a public request to get this information, we go up and down different steps, all kinds of ways, and it's simple. We just want the information. If it's available to us, we'll greatly appreciate it, but it's getting very, very difficult, especially at this time when it comes to the budget, how difficult it is to get information to support the information you're giving us. I just want to be able to verify what you're saying is absolutely true. I've thumbed through this budget, Mayor, and I'm so concerned about, of course, the Orlando Police Department in this budget, but more so that you're going to propose to fund some of the body cams. We do have an issue when it comes to community policing and the concerns in the community. Right now, some of us are still waiting for a body cam footage to be released. And you say, why is Luana bringing this up now? There's no other time. This person is still in jail waiting. We're still waiting. So if we're going to do body cam, let's look at the policies. And since you and the council hire the chief of police, that's something we need to review. We've been told about the soccer stadium that is coming and it's going to be privately owned, yet we still continue to see some type of activity transpiring on the land which they have not already purchased. We've heard about the rollback and changing the rulings and stuff like that. And you said, LaWanda, why are you talking about that? Well, I'm concerned because I remember distinctly with Lift Orlando when they purchased the apartments out on Orange Center. You bought them from HUD, and at the same time on the consent agenda, you sold it. No open bidding process. So I say that to say this is important that we have this opportunity, but these are questions that some people might not be willing to ask, but I have no problem asking. I have no problem with the budget, but I have a problem with the credit rating, and I want to make sure that you can support the information that you're providing the community. Thank you.
Any other cards for public comment?
No, sir.
Then we'll close the public comment section. Discussion among commissioners. Commissioner Stewart.
Mayor, as each year I have made this statement, I want to make sure it goes on record one more time. I apologize, so if you indulge me, I appreciate it. Since we'll be voting on the budget at this particular time, let me go ahead and make this statement. As you know, I have served for many years as the Executive Director of the Christian Service Center for Central Florida. The budget for this year and for many years prior to my service on the City Council has included funds that provide a modest grant to the center. The amount of that proposed funding for this year so far is $22,240. None of that money goes toward the general operation of the Christian Service Center. These funds, however, will not be granted to the Christian Service Center unless and until the Christian Service Center and the city enter into a separate written agreement. Such agreement will come before the City Council for individual approval and at some point in the future. I want to make it clear that when this specific item comes before the council.
This is the first of two public hearings for the adoption of the millage rate and budget for the Downtown Development Board for fiscal year 2015-16. At this first hearing, City will consider for adoption the proposed millage rate and tentative budget. At the second hearing, we'll consider for adoption the final millage rate and budget. Madam Clerk, could we read the title of the millage resolution related to the Downtown Development Board?
A resolution of the City of Orlando, Florida, establishing for the Downtown Development Board the ad valorem tax levy millage rate upon the assessed real property within the Downtown Development District of the year 2015.
The proposed millage rate for the DDB for fiscal year 2015-16 is 1 mil, which is 11.62% lower than the rollback rate of 1.1315 mils. Is there a motion to adopt the millage rate?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Stewart, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Brian.
The City Council, on behalf of the DDB, has set a millage rate of $1 per $100,000 valuation. Similar to the city's millage rate, this rate was submitted to the property appraiser by the August 1st deadline for trim notification process. This millage rate is within the parameters outlined by state formula and has not changed from the prior fiscal year.
Questions of Brian. Are there any cards for public comment on the millage rate?
No, sir.
Comment among commissioners. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Madam Clerk, the title of the budget resolution for the DDB, please.
A resolution of the City of Orlando, Florida, adopting the annual budget of the Downtown Development Board for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2015 and ending September 30th, 2016.
Brian?
The total budget for the Downtown Development Board is $3.5 million, or $3,526,000.
Maybe we didn't. Maybe I went right to public comment. Is there a motion to adopt the tentative budget?
So moved.
Motion and a second. I guess you guys had done the first mistake in 12 years. All right. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. All right. I'll try to get the Neighborhood Improvement District one right. Madam Clerk, would you read the title of the millage resolution, please?
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, and the Board of Directors of the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District. Am I reading the right one?
Yes.
Thank you. Levying an ad
Actually,
valorem tax at the rate of $1 per $1,000 of assessed value on non-exempt real property located within the jurisdictional boundaries of the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District, providing certain findings, providing for administrative millage adjustment in accordance with Florida statutes, providing for the collection of taxes, providing for severability, correction of Scrivener's errors, repeal of conflicting resolutions, and an effective date.
Mayor, I think, I'm sorry, I think the first one should be the city council, the city council, and then the second one would be the board of
Correct.
directors.
Celeste, which one did you read? Did you read the,
Did I do the wrong? I read the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District.
There's two of them that are almost identical, except the
Right.
difference is one's a city council one and one's a board of directors. Need one.
Well, isn't that number 4, though?
yeah, I think she read the right
Actually,
one.
it's the same.
They're exactly, aren't they exactly the same anyways? Yeah, I think they
The
are.
first one, though, you sit as city council, and the second one, you would reconvene
We're convened as city council right now.
Right, so you would do
Four.
the regular one, 3, or 4 on your.
4 on
script.
ours. Okay. I think that was, is there a difference between the two?
Resolution puts them
I don't
together.
have that one.
I thought they ought to be identical and read between the city council. That should be, Jody, that should be fine. They ought to be identical and just read at different meetings. So, okay, the proposed millage rate for the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District for fiscal year 2015-16 is 1 mil, which is 6.5% higher than the rollback rate of 0.9390. Is there a motion to adopt the proposed millage rate?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Hill. Brian?
City Council, on behalf of the Downtown South NID, has set a millage rate of $1 per $1,000 valuation. Similar to the city's millage rate, the rate was submitted to the property appraiser by the August 1st deadline for trim notification process. Millage rate is within the parameters outlined by the state formula and is provided for administration of infrastructure projects within the district.
Is there anyone from the public that would like to comment on this?
No, sir.
Commissioners, hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, Madam Clerk, if you could read the title of the budget resolution for the Downtown South NID.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, and the Board of Directors of the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District adopting the fiscal year 2015-2016 budget for the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District, providing certain findings, providing certain budget accounting procedures, providing for severability, correction of Scrivener's errors, repeal of conflicting resolutions, and an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Stewart. Brian?
Total budget for the Downtown South NID is $384,000 or $383,595. It's the same amount as included in the overall city budget as presented in the July 27th budget and brief, and there have been no changes since the state.
Public comment, Madam Clerk?
No, sir.
Commissioners, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. All right, I'm going to recess the city council meeting without objection. Convene the board of directors for the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District and go through that same process, exactly the same. Madam Clerk, would you read that title of the millage resolution again?
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, and the Board of Directors of the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District levying an ad valorem tax at the rate of $1 per $1,000 of assessed value on non-exempt real property located within the jurisdictional boundaries of the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District, providing certain findings, providing for administrative millage adjustment in accordance with Florida statutes, providing for the collection of taxes, providing for severability, correction of Scrivener's errors, repeal of conflicting resolutions, and an effective date.
The proposed millage rate for the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District for fiscal year 2015-2016 is 1 mil, which is 6.5% higher than the rollback rate of 0.9390. Is there a motion to adopt the proposed millage rate?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Stewart. Brian?
The Board of Directors for the Downtown South NID has set a millage rate of $1 per $1,000 valuation. Similar to the city's millage rate, that rate was submitted to the property appraiser by the August 1st deadline for the trim notification process. Millage rate is within the parameters outlined by state formula and is provided for administration of infrastructure projects within the district.
Public comment, Madam Clerk?
No, sir.
Discussion among commissioners. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. All right, Madam Clerk, the title of the budget resolution.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, and the Board of Directors of the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District adopting the fiscal year 2015-2016 budget for the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District, providing certain findings, providing certain budget accounting procedures, providing for severability, correction of Scrivener's errors, repeal of conflicting resolutions, and an effective date.
All right, motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Stewart on the tentative budget for the NID. Brian?
Total budget for downtown South NID is $384,000 to $383,595. Same amount is included in the overall city budget as presented in the July 27th budget in brief and with no changes.
Public comment, Madam Clerk?
No, sir.
Discussion on commissioners. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicates so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. I will adjourn the Board of Directors meeting of the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District. Without objection, I'll reconvene the City Council meeting, and I will adjourn the City Council meeting without objection. And we'll see you back on
21st.
21st. So we stand adjourned.